I want you to meet someone who is here. We were just chatting a minute ago. So this is Ashley. Your son is Liam. First of all, thank you for stopping by, for coming by today. Again, this is one of those situations where it goes back to something you couldn't have imagined was wrong, but it turned out to be a lot more serious than you thought. So tell us about how Liam got here. What happened?
So he ended up having this random headache for about 2 weeks, and nothing was really helping. And so we went to the emergency room, and they couldn't really figure it out either. So they sent us to neurology, who also didn't really have an idea. And that's how we ended up with the MRI and the CAT scan that found the tumor that he ended up being diagnosed with. So it happened extremely quickly. On the 15th of April, we saw the neurologist in the afternoon. We did the MRI and CAT scan. 2 days later, we had the biopsy, and by the Friday, 5 days later, we knew that he had Langerhans cell histiocytosis, which is like an extremely rare cancer-like disease where about 1 in 1 million children per year all over the world are diagnosed with this. And the location in which his tumor is behind the nose that went down to his spine, his brain is sort of sitting on it, is also in an extremely rare place as well. So it's doubly rare for what he has.
Did I read right? So the idea that he had a tumor, but they weren't sure that it necessarily was cancerous when they first discovered it?
Yes. So that's where the urgency sort of came from, is they originally thought it might be a carcinoma, which is much more terminal than what he has. What he has right now is a curable thing, whereas the carcinoma is not.
So they discover the tumor, then they discover, because this will develop other tumors, I guess, when you have this. Is that how the disease works?
It can. There is a higher rate of getting another tumor, but he will be going through multiple scans about every 3 months. So far, he goes through MRIs to see if there's any more tumors or how it develops.
And chemotherapy as well as part of the treatment here?
Yes, so he just finished his second round of weekly chemotherapy and steroid treatment, and they just switched him over last week into IV chemo every 3 weeks and a pill form of chemo every single day, along with the steroids and antibiotics and vitamins and all of that stuff.
How's he coping with all this right now?
He's a very let everything sort of roll off your back sort of kid. He's done really great. Obviously, with the steroids, his moods are like up and down, and it makes him extremely hungry, more than a regular 14-year-old boy. But he really just goes with the flow, and he's loving the opportunities that the hospital are giving him to sort of perk up his mood.
So your son is now 14.
Yes.
Right. When did this happen?
He was diagnosed 2 days before his birthday.
That's just so we're talking now.
Yes.
2 days ago. 2
no.
days before his birthday.
Yeah, so his birthday is April 21st, and he was diagnosed on the 19th.
What kind of a shock was this to the family? You think you have a perfectly healthy child, you're dealing with headaches, and the next thing you know, you're doing MRIs and CAT scans, and you find out I can't imagine what this must have been like.
Yeah, I had to leave the room to cry a lot because my son didn't like to see me cry. And every time a new doctor came in, because they were working so quickly for him, I didn't know that an oncologist would come see me, or a neurosurgeon or anything like this. So every time a new person came in, I just sort of started bawling again, because I kind of saw where things were going, even though they didn't really give me like a solid answer of what was going on. So there has been a lot of emotions, and even to this day, like when I think back of when they brought me to the room to tell me that he had the tumor to begin with, like I get like a little choked up.
Yeah. It's the one thing we hear. So you're mentioning a bunch of different doctors who saw you at different stages and all this. And I think in your particular case, from what I'm getting, it was a mystery even to them at the outset what was really going on here, right?
Yes, because it was in his head, they were doing a bunch of different neurological sort of tests because they thought it was affecting his brain.
Right.
And so when they did the biopsy, they had a neurosurgeon and an ENT surgeon do the surgery at the same time to collect part of the tumor to make sure that his brain was functioning properly and that it wasn't affecting anything in the future.
So he's 14 years old, as we said. He's, as you just said, he's doing as best as he can do. I mean, this treatment is going to be going on for a while between whenever he's on antibiotics, chemotherapy.
Yeah.
What's it like when you come back here now? I mean, in terms of people you're seeing, nurses who may remember, and do you have a little family here?
Definitely. Everybody knows Liam by name. They used to call him Champion.
Wow.
The hematology oncology clinic is a very personalized sort of department. So we have our own personal nurse, we have our own social worker, we have our own oncologist, and even if we don't see our regular oncologist, they all know us by name and everything like that, and they're always in high spirits. And I even just saw FIFA walk by, who's the child life worker who works in that department, and everyone's super friendly, and they're just a really great support system to make sure that we're not sort of like down emotions wise when we go there, because when we're going into the clinic, they all have cancer, right? It's not necessarily a happy place to be in, so they really do their best to make the time pass by quickly.
That's why we tell people we need a call to allow them to continue with the programs they have here and all the stuff they do as well that we don't hear so much about. In your case, it's wonderful to hear that when he comes here, he feels like he's, because he's going to be coming back here a bunch, and he feels like he's in a safe place as much as anywhere else. So that's nice to hear. Listen, you want to tell people why they need to call today, why they need to make a donation?
Of course. I'm a single mom, and I don't really have a lot of outside support, and I've had to take in time off of work in order to care for my son. So the hospital provides me with meal vouchers and parking passes and the pet therapy for my son, as well as gas gift cards and opportunities outside of the hospital that wouldn't be possible if it weren't for these donations. And so even though I'm on caregiver benefits right now, this helps me feel a lot more financially secure, knowing that I have access to these resources.
Everything the hospital does that we don't hear about happening behind the scenes, as you just laid out. Thank you so much for being here and for sharing your story. The number to call, 514-939-KIDS. That's 514-939-5437. This is the day to make that donation, to make those phones ring, and to allow the Children's to continue doing the amazing work that it does and providing the support that it does for the families and the kids who are here. Let's do it. 514-939-5437. Make your donation now. Thank you for coming, Ashley. We appreciate it.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.